Welcome. It's Kelly and Company, and on today's show, Michael Feir shares his thoughts on Stranded, a new comedy on Audible which strands two best friends on an island. Ooh, haha, they let the sparks fly on that one. Okay, you know, the reality is, folks, Kelly and Company will never leave you stranded.
This is Kelly and Company.
And you know, ladies and gentlemen, to start the show, I got to give a happy 17th birthday shout out to my boy Cameron and wishing him the best today. Enjoy. He's technically a February 29th baby, but this year somebody stole the 29th. They return it every 4 years. Welcome to the show. Nazreen Abdel-Majid is also with me on the program. Welcome back. Have you been away for, well, the duration of this week? This is your first day back, kicking things off on a Friday.
Yes, and I actually love being back on a Friday because that's it. You know what? Getting back to work and then all over again. I'm on a break, so it's
then you're on a break.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of like getting just that one day in, catch up, and saying, thank God I have the weekend to rest. Well, appreciate you being with us. We've got a lot on the show. We're going to squeeze it into a little bit of time before Parasport Nation joins us. We'd like you to do us a favor, folks. Check out our podcast from your platform of choice. While you're in there, if you would, give us a rating and review. Change and Challenge, A Journey Through Migration is an inspiring solo tactile art exhibit by award-winning artist Lynda Todd, who is here today to give us the broad strokes. Lynda, wow, it's great to be talking to you again. Welcome back to Kelly and Company.
Thank you so much, Kelly. It's a great opportunity.
Well, great opportunity, and for us, we can sit back and say, hey, man, how thrilling. We've had many conversations about art with you over the years when you were with us on the show, and to see what's going on now is just tremendous. Tell us, if you would, what kind of artist you are for those who may not have known you or need that reminder.
Well, originally I started as an abstract artist, and being visually impaired and colorblind, you know, I was open to at least learning abstract and thought, you know, I would kind of get into it. And a career with art started to take off, and then it's progressed. Now that I'm not really doing any abstract, it's more so I started focusing on bringing attention to migration and endangered species. So now my art is very specific to certain animals, and it's all tactile. So everything is made out of different materials. So I'm actually what's referred to as a mixed media artist, right. And I do everything on custom-made wood panels, and usually using modeling paste and gels. And as you can see, the pictures that are being put up on the screen, you know, the art is very touchable, and that's what the whole exhibit is about, is that people can come in and there's actually signage up that says, please touch.
Wow. Oh, so beautiful. Can you get into a little more of a decision making in the way of being a mixed media artist? What stuff you're going to use, what wood you're going to use, the different things that you're going to include, where you get things, for us to kind of get an idea what is actually being utilized?
I guess it's really just kind of what pops in my head. I have no formal training. It's kind of what makes it fun, I guess, for me. And that brought more attention to the art that I do, because I don't know any of the rules. So right. I just kind of do what, you know, so many times, like at night, I'll wake up or I won't wake up and I'll just see pictures and realize I need to learn a technique to be able to do it. So a lot of times, you know, I've got to research and learn how to actually end up making the picture that I envision.
I love how you still see it as a hobby and not just a job. That's very rare, and it's nice to see you doing that.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's the whole journey has been really just a lot of fun, and it just seems one thing leads to another, you know, and I get one exhibit or one opportunity even, and then that's what led to this really big exhibit that has become very all-inclusive. All the art is going to be I've done voice description to each one. So there's a QR code that will audio tour you through the complete exhibit. And Braille, all the ID cards are done in Braille with large print. There's Braille on the side of each painting that has the name of the painting. So, and another thing that's new to, it seems, especially to this gallery, but all the art is hung lower so that those that may be in wheelchairs are able to reach it and touch it and feel the art.
Yeah, that's so important because so many things are just not. We always talk about things at, quote, eye level, unquote, or where people are more likely to scan and see something, and we forget about people in wheelchairs. But so many things you've thought about here. Tell us how this idea for Change and Challenge came to be the journey through migration in this exhibit. Walk us through the change that happened into you to where we are now.
Well, the tactile side of things, that originally occurred because I was awarded my first solo exhibit in 2019. So I produced a ton of art, had an exhibit. It was great. And some friends came, and one friend that attended was completely blind. And she asked me to describe the art. And first of all, I was focused on abstract art. So abstract is very hard to describe to anybody. And then asking a visually impaired and colorblind person to describe it, even though I created it, I see different colors on different days and, I'm not going to see it the same. But I'm thinking, wow, right? She's come to show her support for my art, but she really can't get anything out of it. Right? Like a description isn't going to do much. And so that was just a really huge turning point. It took me a couple years to make the change, but I didn't, that just struck me really, really strong. And I still, I was at the very beginning of my painting path. So, I knew what my end, journey or process was going to be, which was at this point to get it all completely accessible and inclusive. I just had to learn a lot of things to be able to make that happen. But
how exciting when you get a moment like that, Lynda, that speaks
to you.
It's such a moment of clarity.
Yep. Yeah, it was, what's always been referred to as those aha moments. And I thought, wow, I've got to be part of making this change. And, hopefully it just has a ripple effect and people start noticing more to make art truly inclusive.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a question here.
Yeah.
What do you use to make the tactile, the texture of it? Is it just the brush strokes or is it more to it?
On some pieces, it's absolutely just the brush strokes and using thicker paints. But for the majority of it, where, the images that you put up on the screen where you could really see the tactility of it, that's using modeling gel and modeling paste, which that's a component that you can, you buy at art supply stores. And I have one piece that's not in this exhibit, is out of paper mache. So that's a new technique that I'm using. So on this one, the bird that's up on the screen, which is a whooping crane, you can really see the tactility in the wingspan, and that's made out of modeling paste, and it is, oh my goodness, it's so fun. Right?
Talk about an art studio, though. You must have so much when you work, quote, the mess, but that's an artist space, right? For doing what you're doing.
Oh, it is
and
messy.
We get the benefit.
Yeah. It is. It's very messy. I am I'm double. It's a messy whole process, and I'm double messy.
Oh, man. And how many pieces, Lynda, are in this exhibit?
There are 50 pieces.
Oh, wow. That's tremendous.
It's a huge gallery. I have a huge room, And they actually had to hold back 5 pieces because I was so worried, that I wouldn't fill this huge gallery. And, it was a year. I was a year at least making all of this art and leading up to this exhibit. So
it's amazing.
But now I have pieces.
Where are they going after the exhibit? How long is it there, and where are they going afterward?
It is at the John Parrott Gallery in Bellville from March 2nd March 1st. March 1st is the opening reception tomorrow, and until April 2nd. And then for the I don't have a further exhibition for the complete exhibit because it is so big. At this point, I've really been just focused on leading up to here. But there will be at Capers Gallery in Campbellford. I have a solo show there later this year, and it will be, I believe it's there for 3 months. So there'll be about 20 or 25 pieces in it.
Okay, so I'm kind of curious about those pieces that couldn't make this one. Are they technically, would you say, if someone said, we have the space, we want all the pieces associated with this exhibit, what you would classify as it, would those extra pieces be included as part of it, or now are they towards something next steps?
Probably it'll probably be next steps. Or, let's hope, so even tomorrow at the opening reception, if a bunch sells, then I've got pieces right away to put right back up on the wall.
That's absolutely fantastic. Oh my gosh, I love it. That is beautiful. Lynda, I'm also curious before we let you go, as a artist with a disability, when it comes to especially that aha moment, saying, hey, this person can't really see these the same way. I have to be into that tactile field. For yourself, deciding I'm going to make a hooping crane or what have you, how do you envision your stuff and feel what you see and put down as an artist piece, the accuracy, those kinds of things, and for you, how much does it matter? I mean, you see your things the way you see them.
Yeah, so I try to be, as accurate as possible. I do a lot of research on and just look at a ton of different photographs with the animal in different positions and angles. So you really get to know, kind of like the creases and folds of an elephant's ear.
Right.
I think
yes.
In this exhibit, I did African elephants and whooping cranes. Well, there's, a bunch, right? Salmon and monarch butterfly. But the elephants, I enjoyed the most because they're such a textured animal. And the texture of the elephant and doing those different shadings, was and the trunk, I don't know, it was just to get those folds and to make it look real and differentiate it. So it's a lot of learning process for me, especially doing the shadowing and the different textures to make it look kind of as real as possible. But I'm certainly not promoting my stuff as a real image. Like you said, it's my eyes image.
Yes, your perception.
Yeah.
Lynda, good luck tomorrow with things kicking off. Hope lots of stuff gets bought up, but I'm sure people absolutely, as we did, enjoy our conversation today with you, and as we always have. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Lynda Todd joining us on the program. You can catch Change and Challenge, a journey through migration, which runs to April 2nd at the John M. Parrott Art Gallery in Bellville, Ontario. And for CNIB clients in the GTA, now we're tight on this, so there may be some spots left, folks. Join them for a special bus trip on Saturday, March 1st to the Art Gallery in Bellville, where Lynda, of course, will be there with her work, and you get a chance to talk to her if you'd like. Stuff in large print braille and audio description will be all employed to make sure you can get in and enjoy the show. Sign up, please, to get there. It includes transportation, a pizza lunch, and they'll be leaving at 1525 Yonge Street. That's the CNIB hub in Toronto. But do register by getting a hold of Walter Dickinson at Walter Dickinson, DICKINSON at cnib.ca, or call 437-992-2247. A lot of twos there, folks. So try to register. I mean, they leave tomorrow. It may be a little too late, but give it a shot anyway, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to also welcome Mike Feir to join us now. I have a quick article, guys, I'd like to share with you. Michael, welcome to the show. And I kind of would love a quick feedback before we get on to our discussion with Mike. Astronaut with disability cleared to go to the space station. This is by Sean Easley. For the first time, an astronaut with a disability has been cleared for a mission to the International Space Station. The European Space Agency said that this month, John McFall has received medical clearance to serve as a fully integrated crew member on a 6-month mission to the space station. McFall, a British surgeon and former Paralympic sprinter, had his right leg amputated after a motorbike accident at the age of 19. He was selected in 2022 as a member of the European Space Agency's reserves to participate in a study to assess the feasibility of spaceflight for astronauts with physical disabilities. He says, I feel hugely proud. He was talking at a news conference. This isn't about me, however. This is way bigger than that, because this is a cultural shift. This is something that has not been done before. Now, at this point, there is no plan for McFall to head to space. In the meantime, officials with the space agency said they are continuing to examine prosthetics and other factors that might affect him once he gets into space. He noted also that as part of his work, they've already developed some technologies that will trickle down and have benefits to other prosthetic users broadly. So I love that part of it, Nisreen. What a tremendous thing to hear there, that others may benefit whether he makes it to space or not.
Isn't that remarkable? No, it's never seen or done before, obviously, but I think it's a new beginning to the disability community, which is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, this kind of thing I know you're about.
Absolutely. Like, this is, I like the thought of it. And you know, boy, like he would be a very fit and well qualified person. And of course, with the lack of gravity, the one leg is probably not going to be a massive handicap in any ways. But really, the counterpoint this with the attack on disability inclusion going on right now in the U.S. And I wonder if this will, with this initiative, will stay in place long enough to take off. I hope so. I wish the right people would look at something like this and go, okay, maybe we're wrong to slash all the stuff we're doing to try and help disabled people get off the ground here. Because if NASA can clear an astronaut with a disability to go into space, maybe we should rethink all this slash and burn stuff. I wish that would happen. I don't know that it will.
You bet, man. Right. Great thoughts, though. Wonderful thoughts. Folks, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Kelly & Co. AMI.
When two best friends who haven't seen each other in 8 years are stranded on an island together, you just know there's going to be trouble. Michael Feir reviews a short, witty comedy on Audible called Stranded. Michael, what attracted you to this particular comedy?
Well, there's a couple of things. We just did, the last one was all about male friendships. And I thought, what an interesting counterpoint. You got two female best friends caught up in the busyness of life and the difficulties that those friendships face, with distance and circumstance and life happens. And next thing you know, you haven't seen each other in person in like 10 years. And, for me, there was a attraction to that. I wanted to see how they could turn that into fun, into, something to laugh about and learn from in a gentler way than life often dishes out lessons like that. So that really attracted me to it as well. Whoopi Goldberg also was in it. She's always good. She's in a lot of these Audible comedies, I notice, these days. So something's going on there. They have her on contract or something. But she always has these bit parts. So there's lots of of really, and the sample, of course, sounded great. So that once I heard that, I was like, yeah, this is the one. I'm slotting it in right next. It was just obvious that it should go here.
Yeah, honestly, when I picture this, I picture drama, and I'm here for the drama when I see two females, because I think about my best friend, like I would die for her, but at the same time, if I'm stranded on an island with her, there would be drama. There would be
content. Yeah, would you die for her, or right? I mean, this is the thing.
Yeah,
it puts that all to an extreme
and it's
test.
in person, right? Yeah. And you're going through stress as opposed to this friendship that's been online for so much because they're so busy.
Yeah,
and that's the thing,
exactly.
like the kids were, right away that, at the start, the family was pointing out, hey, you two are best friends, but you haven't seen each other in 10 years. So how could you still be best friends? Right. The kids were saying, and what about my best friend? And so like, that's different, it just, they always try to find these reasons and excuses, but missed moments kind of add up, and you see that strain when they're really put under stress on the island. What happens, and all the resentments come boiling out that haven't been dealt with because you've been not really in full contact for a long time.
That's so true, right? Because you just confront each other. You have no choice but to confront each other and talk about it. So you can't avoid any of that context, any of those issues that come up, right? So you're in each other's faces. Like my best friend's in California. I haven't seen her in 5 years, but I still call her my best friend because she's, at the end of the day, still the number one person that I would go to if I had anything that I'm going through that I know she wouldn't judge me for. So I still call her my best friend, even though she's all the way in California. So
and adversely, happy to tell her something. I'm sure if something great happened, that's that person you want to first tell, which sounds like the relationship these guys have.
Absolutely, right, and I can relate to this. My friend, one of my good best friends is in the Philippines. I haven't seen him in a little while, in a couple of years now, I guess, roughly. So it adds up, and we exchange notes, but it's different than really talking to each other, being there. And but then being stranded, I mean, these people are then brought into facing catastrophe, really having to fight for their survival, and their worst aspects are revealed, because stress will do that. Stress, hunger, thirst, these things have that effect. So they really in coping with that situation. And of course, this is told on flashback. We get this as they're back safe and sound, but this police officer is interrogating them, thinking that there's a murder that happened. It looks like at one point there are two murders that might have happened on the island, and they might have been involved. So they're being questioned. All their decisions are being picked apart, and they're going through this interview, and that's another layer of tension, right? And of course, we're getting the stuff on the island from their perspective, and is all of that reliable, right? I mean, given what they're going through, are they remembering everything correctly, right? So there's all of these things that add to it. So you get it's kind of in a flashback format. They go back and talk about incidents in their past, and then incidents on the island. In the resort that they start to have the vacation at that they were originally going to, and then they went out on a cruise and get stranded on the island, and then the things really get hard, and there's all sorts of fun characters. There's the crazy captain that's all gung-ho survivalist, and we see that play out, and there's a jungle cat that they're trying to bargain with to get a dry spot to get out of the rain, right? And he happens to be in a cave, and it just seems like the cat outsmarts him at every it's the funniest thing.
I go out of my way to find that drama. That's a definite.
Well, is it for a younger audience, Mike, or for adults?
This is really for adults. It does deal with mature themes. So I would say, certainly no one under like teenage, but it really is for adult kind of comedy. It doesn't get like graphic or anything, but a lot of these things, it kind of touches on. But yeah, it's pretty relatively clean. There are some curses, but it's pretty good on that front. They're not the focus. They're just realistically dropped in. I don't think it was overdone at all. The timing of these people is excellent when they do this stuff. Like the lines are delivered in just great timing. They have that just nailed down. Sound is pretty good too. Sound and music, very, very well put together. You get that sweeping, when they discover themselves on the island and they realize they're stranded and you hear the thunder and the rain, you just get a sense of, wow, you're there, right? So that they did that very effectively.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
Stranded deals with adult themes. You can find Stranded written by Chris Bruno and others on Audible Canada. Buy it for $1 Audible credit or $12.59 Canadian.
Awesomeness. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you. Welcome back. Folks, you can email us at kellyco@ami.ca and call us at 1-866-509-4545. Always would love to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. The best to you. On our next show, medical intervention is exhausting both mentally and physically. Psychotherapist Fern Lulham shares her own recent experiences with ups and downs while navigating a corneal transplant surgery in the UK. We wish the best to you. Take care. We'll talk on Monday. Now get out of here, will ya?
Thanks for tuning in to Kelly and Company. Follow us on all social media and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more.